8 Chinese engineers who were working on the Daesu hydropower project were rammed by an explosive-filled car in Pakistan last week. 5 of them were killed. Only a week before, a convoy of Chinese workers were targeted by armed men at Gwadar port. Last August, an entire bus full of Chinese engineers were targeted in a similar event. They thankfully all survived, but there's been countless other similar incidents since 2018. What is happening? Well, quite simply, a broad group of Baloch separatists see these Chinese as neo-colonials and are resorting to terror measures to force them out. Let's rewind a bit. So the Baloch ethnic group inhabit western Pakistan and have Iran to their west and Afghanistan to their north. It's a very politically unstable area, and Pakistan and Iran have been fighting for influence over it for years, and with America withdrawing from Afghanistan, it's become even more unstable. What they want is either an autonomous Balochistan state or simply more prosperity. Also, they're likely backed by the current regime in Afghanistan that begins with the letter T. However, China doesn't want Balochistan to become a separatist state, for they've just invested $62 billion into the area to build a trade route known as the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC. They believe this to be absolutely critical for their future. It's because China's #1 geostrategic weakness is the fact that pretty much all their oil and trade currently needs to go through the Malacca Corridor, and then it goes up north through the South China Sea, which is dominated by American, Filipino, Vietnamese, Taiwanese, and potentially Japanese and South Korean forces. If they were to go to war, this entire area would be inaccessible. However, if they were able to build this corridor through Pakistan, specifically Balochistan, they would be able to bypass this existential dilemma, bypass the South China Sea, and you bypass the US Navy, or at least much of it. And if Balochistan was to become an independent state, or if Pakistan's stability was threatened by riots or even a civil war, all of this would be lost. And I suppose the other interest group here is the Pakistani ruling class. You see, Pakistan has been in a dire financial crisis for years now, and China is pretty much their only real source of foreign investment they have left. And also, these big infrastructure projects like ports and dams are perfect places for corruption to fester. However, it's also important to note that these projects have been heavily debated whether they even help the people of Pakistan in any way. The workers and contractors, for example, are mostly Chinese, and thus these Baloch separatists see China as a neo-colonial power who want to use their land of the Baloch people for their own goals. They're not interested in sharing the wealth with them, and given China's investment and the Pakistani government's reliance on this foreign funding, this CPEC corridor project directly threatens their goal for an independent state, for consolidating Balochistan and destroying political dissent and instability is currently both Pakistan's and China's top priority. And thus these Baloch separatists are targeting Chinese engineers in terror attacks to make China wonder whether any of this is worth it, and to give the impression that Pakistan is unable to protect Chinese investment, sowing discord between Pakistan's and China's relationship. And in a world where China itself is in an economic crisis and for the most part has halted foreign investments, well, it might not take much more to convince China to pull out. Thanks for watching.